Alright folks, so today was supposed to be a quick video on me finally installing my micro-suede Alcantara headliner in the E92. So I got into tearing down the car and getting things out of the way to get to where I need to get to get all the panels out that would then release the headliner. And I got to a part where I realized I had to take out the back seat, and I take out the back seat, and this is my first time doing this since I bought this car, and I find a bunch of goodies. Some kicks, I believe that cereal is. A very rare Pokemon coin that's holographic. Let me find that. Where's that Pokemon coin? Here it is. Check this shit out. That's tight. I don't know what Pokemon it is. Is that a Yeah, it is a Pokemon. Keeping that as a souvenir. But yeah, this car is interesting to say the least. I'm gonna clean this shit out and pick the video back up at a point where I can, if I can, get the headliner out to then replace it. I'll pick it up from there. But yeah, always snoop around your car and see what good shit you can find. I hope this isn't too dark. But yeah, very interesting suddenly video now. But I'll pick this up. Carrying along with the headliner removal. I don't know if I didn't think I wanted this video to be a DIY tutorial, but I'm just gonna kind of document my process of doing it. Got most of the interior trim out. I didn't think you would have to remove or loosen these quarter trims, but you do. If not, you'll break one of the clips on your seatbelt thing, which I did. Hopefully I can get to go back in and look halfway decent though. Excuse me, I just had a Dr. Pepper. But headliner's almost ready to come out. Just gotta do these two T20s. The T20s in here, unplug the lights, undo this, and the headliner's ready to drop down, peel the fabric off, go buy some adhesive spray, 3M upholstery adhesive, and spray the new shit on. And hopefully this shit goes together. I'm crossing my fingers because I have really bad luck with DIY sometimes, and shit becomes a DIY plus take it to a shop to have them do it as well. All right, so old saggy headliner and tray are out. I'll peel this, take off these metal rings, peel the old one off, hit the board with a brush or something like a drill so I can get all the glue off. Probably do that for like 20-30 minutes. Make a few passes to get all the glue off. And then my pre-cut headliner will be ready to go in. I'm gonna go buy some 3M upholstery spray. Make sure the surface is nice and good and clean. And hopefully, my first time doing anything like this, but hopefully get it to lay down nice and flat and neat with no air bubbles. And let it cure for a few hours. Probably have to leave it overnight actually. Come back tomorrow, put it in the car, and be good. The headliner out. Currently using the brush wheel to strip the old foam from the tray. So the goal is to get this down to as much gray as possible, which is just, the foam. And then once I get that pretty clean, go through the nooks and crannies and really clean up these edges where you don't want to lift. Even though there's technically gonna be like a thing here with a screw and clip that'll really kind of hold it in place. You don't want any lifting sides just because it'll start to lift in one spot and spread and become the same issue over again. So I'm stripping it down with the brush, trying to get it down to as nice, beautiful gray as much as possible. I'm not using a metal. I saw one video dude use a metal brush. I tried that, and you can see either my heavy hand or just the metal being too abrasive. Dug down through the base fabric and instead of like exposing the wood. So I'm hoping that doesn't show up once I lay the fabric down or cause an issue with lifting later on. But yeah, this is where I'm at now. Just gonna keep doing this. Probably gonna take me another hour or two to get this clean like I want. And then I'm gonna go into mocking up how I'm gonna lay down the new fabric. It's pre-cut for all the holes you see, so I don't really need to do much planning. I just need to figure out how I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do the back section first, and then check out what needs to be finessed, and do the front section, and I should be good. I'm praying this thing doesn't need much stretching or finessing. It is pre-cut, made for this car, so I hope it's done really well. That way I don't have to do much extra. Just spoke too soon in the last clip. Yeah, it's pre-cut, but the outside shape. None of the fucking holes for the domes are big enough, and all the little holes for the, you know, the what's the names, the like handles, the OSHA handle clips, the other little mini brackets like that. None of those are cut, so I'll either have to cut those myself or resign and take the car to a shop to get finished. It means I'm going to be without the car for a few days.
3 weeks later.
All right, so after many weeks of waiting, I am back with the conclusion of my headliner video. Right now, I stripped down the original headliner, took off all the fabric and the foam. Then I dropped off the quote-unquote Alcantara, which is just micro-suede fabric at my buddy's shop to lay it down on the board for me real good, because I was probably gonna have mad bubbles in it if I did it myself. And now I'm just trimming off some of the excess and folding it over. And I'm about to cut some of the holes I need to cut to make all the trim fittings fit back in. And then I'll be putting it back up in the car. So hopefully I'll be here for another about hour or so doing this, making sure shit lays down good. I got some glue setting on this side here, so I have it clamped down just so it stays flat. Just do that all around on some parts, trim some parts and clean it up. And then try to reassembly, and hopefully everything goes to plan and I did this right. I will have a nice, beautiful new suede or micro suede headliner. I may eventually go back and get the pillars done in micro suede, or at least just get new fabric to go there. It's not sagging off the trim pieces, but I just feel like it should just match, even though this shit looks decent enough as is. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I'll pick this video up once I get some more work done, and yeah. All right, so right now, just showing some progress. As you might have seen in the time-lapse clip I did, basically going around the edges here. I didn't want to cut off anything because I didn't want to cut it too close and have the potential for it to peel. So I kind of gave myself some extra to fold over and glue down so it has like some more leverage. So mostly done with all the outside. I've been here literally since 4 p.m. It is now 10 p.m. The biggest part that was a pain in the ass was this. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This ring comes out, there's like little tabs on the opposite side that you pry up all around to get the slot out. And getting it back in is really, well, I made it harder for myself than it had to be, but I'll show you on the other side. 1 second. Let me just flip this over. So on this side, all of these tabs, you pry them up kind of vertically 90 degrees to get them to pop out, and this falls out. That's how you get the old fabric off. And the original fabric kind of was like this, where it ended before the tabs and there was just space for the tabs to grip on the board material. I tried to leave fabric on there for it to grip onto, and what would happen was it's such a tight fit that this wouldn't fit properly. So after I figured that out, after like an hour of trying to do it without that, with that fabric on, because I had to cut it, so I crudely cut it, and I kind of fucked it up right here. But I think the way this fits in, it'll cover that. You really couldn't see it. Only like I would know it's there. And if it starts to like peel up, I'll just drop that panel, that light piece down and do some patchwork here. So got that back in, got some of the interior lights back in, cut some of the holes for the screws for certain interior pieces to fit back in, like that for the rear view or sun visor thing goes there, all that shit. I'm going around working all that around. Gonna have to probably cut this out more because there's a plastic panel for the third brake light cover that goes over that. I'm gonna leave some of it though, because the interior of this car is probably the most noisy, vibrating fucking interior ever. And instead of my car feeling like kind of a quote-unquote luxury car like the BMW is supposed to be, it feels like I'm driving a fucking Civic Honda Hoopty when I start the car up, and the entire interior vibrates and rattles because of my loud ass exhaust, which is, I guess, no shot to BMW. It's on me pointing out exhaust. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave some excess fabric so that when that clips back on, it should fill in the gap and create more of a tighter fit on this panel. That where is it? Fuck. I forgot what I did with it, but it pretty much vibrates like a bitch and causes mad noise. So I forgot where I put it, but you'll see when I'm putting the car back together. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be done with this in the next 2 hours. I'm just going around finishing up all this. I'm gonna use the lesson I learned on the front with this, and I'm gonna cut away pretty much all this fabric that's on this little lip. Cut all that fabric that's covering that way it's just board. And I should have enough for it to grab properly and me not spend an hour trying to get that to work. And I'm gonna use another little trick I learned when doing the front to keep it from raising, hopefully in the future, by using the light itself as kind of a anchoring point. So I'm gonna leave just enough fabric so that when I press the light in, the light will be kind of holding some fabric down, but not get in the way of the brackets biting. I may, if I ever get like super anal about this car, I may go buy a new one of these from BMW to put in, because this one got mad mangled. But it's one of those things where once it's back in the car, no one will ever see it unless somebody takes the headliner down again for whatever reason. But yeah, let me get back to that. I may time lapse some more, and then I'll hopefully be picking this video back up shortly with me putting the headliner back up. And then there's the nightmare of remembering which screws went where. I should have bagged them when I took it out, but hindsight. So this is what I was talking about with this thing right here. This thing vibrates like a bitch, so I left some fabric around some of the edges that there wasn't fabric previously on. So hopefully when I start the car, I can dampen, keep some of that vibration down. Add more of a tighter fit so the pieces don't have room to knock against each other. So yeah, I'm making it, I'm coming along. About to lay down this loose edge here and this last little piece, and I should be done with the trimming. And then front part begins. Actually no, I have to do the last dome light section. That's gonna be easier. Hope I don't have to eat my words with that. French fries, Chick-fil-A. The last big piece, other than this piece, and this part is done. And I gotta just do that. Back in the car she goes. Just praying the interior isn't that tight of a fit, this little overlap area and stuff like that cause some issues going back in. This spot is also next to a screw, so I'm like If it does, I will get the screw to catch threads and have the screw send it on home. The last part, I don't know if I should overlap. This is in the front of the car. So these two flaps are the front of the car. I don't know how tight that fit is up against the A-pillar trim piece and back to this. So I kind of want to leave some overlap there. I want the front of the car to be flawless so that way, if there isn't, screw up and see it. So I'm gonna say I think I can get away with doing an overlap. I may trim so that it just falls here and doesn't go too far in. So I feel like this part is kind of raised for that reason. I'm honestly a bit afraid. I'll be real with y'all. I'm a little bit afraid about that. So I don't want this to cause fitment issues up front. We're trying to pop that A-pillar trim back into place. But I don't want to snip it and you can see like through the glass. Well, even though you really can't see up there because there's a grommet. Maybe I'll cut that. Maybe I will cut that because I want it to look mint up front. No one's ever getting in the back seat of this car, so I don't care. But in the front, I don't want to notice. I don't want anyone to be able to notice, oh yeah, Tyler did this, not a professional. So, gotta figure that out. Let me think on that for a second. All right, so what I ended up doing in these corners was leaving that little, gave a relief cut. I kind of botched this side, but on this side, put a relief cut and left some of that material there, and I think I should be fine with fitment. I hope. If not, I'm gonna have a long night. That means I'll have to take this back down and trim off all of this there. Like trim that, trim from here, trim that, and then put it back in. But I'm pretty sure it's not that tight of a fit. And if I can just get the A-pillar trim to pop back in place, I don't give a shit if it bulges a little bit. No one will notice except me. Damn, but now that I'm thinking back on it, that is a pretty tight fit piece, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna be in a lot of pain in a second. Let me see. I'll have to flip it over and look. Flip it over and look at it from top side. The fabric actually was gone from here. I took the picture of it back. Could try to cut this, but now it's been cool. It's gonna be a bitch to get up. So I may just have to deal with it bulging out, which I really honestly don't care. You can feel where it pins on this board. It's like a ridge. And that ridge is where the A-pillar trim meets up with the roof. So might have to rectify that, honestly. Same thing's gonna happen back here too. But with this part, there's a screw, so I can just pull this in, honestly. But up here, just for the sake of me not seeing it, may have to rectify that. Damn it, man. I should have thought about, well, I didn't even do this part. The shop did this part, so this is kind of on them. And I probably should have maybe told them. Let me remember if this is even a screw here. No screw, that's fine. So maybe I'll trim this. I just really don't want to start doing cuts this close to an exposed part. Maybe I'll trim it from here, give a little room. Because I don't want it to start fraying and go back from there. But I really don't want to make any more cuts on this thing. It's so nice. I don't want to make any more cuts. So I'll try. If it doesn't go, then I'll have to do what I have to do. Okay, so after many hours later, 2:43 a.m. I started this around 4 p.m. I finally had the car's interior completely reassembled, and man, was it worth it. Look how sick this looks. I need to buy a brush to like get everything to be one direction and, you know, all the finger marks out of it, but damn, this shit looks good. The fitment is literally OEM. I was worried about some spots fitting a bit weird with the thicker fabric, but no, this shit looks insane. Turn the ISO up real quick, but yeah, this is 1,000 times better than before, and probably 1,000,000 times better than just doing OEM replacement. especially since the OEM one new costs $1,100. Took me forever, but it's finally done. I'm so happy I can drive my car with the windows open and not see ghetto ass fabric flapping behind me. So yeah, happy to finally have my interior back together. So now when I drive, I hopefully don't get SOS and airbag lights on my dash. Let's see. SOS on. What's the car saying? I'll have to start out to warm it up now anyway. Let's see. Ignition switched on. Vehicle info. Vehicle status. Oh yeah, all the stuff expected to see. I've been trying to code this out for the longest and still won't go away. Good, whatever. But yeah, no more SOS malfunction light, no more passenger side airbag and all the other shit lights. Everything is literally back together in one piece. I'm excited. So this is probably gonna end this video. New headliner is in. I had some issues with fitting up this. I made it kind of work. It's good enough for me. I won't notice it when I'm driving around most days. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace.